front gate opened slowly that evening, and Chief Andrew walked into the compound with a girl nobody had ever seen before. She looked about 18. Quiet. Nervous. Holding a small faded travel bag tightly against her chest. "This is Esther," Andrew said calmly. "She's the daughter of a distant relative from the village. She'll stay here and help around the house." His wife Vivian forced a polite smile. But something about the way Andrew looked at the girl immediately felt strange. Not pity. Not kindness. Guilt. The kind of guilt a man carries when he is hiding something too heavy to confess. And that secret was about to destroy the peaceful image of their family forever. Chief Andrew was one of the most respected businessmen in the city. He lived in a beautiful mansion with his elegant wife Vivian and their 16-year-old daughter Clara. From the outside, they looked like the perfect family. Luxury cars, family vacations, smiling photographs. But inside the house, things were not as perfect as people imagined. Clara had grown spoiled and entitled. She rarely helped with anything and often complained whenever things did not go her way. Vivian, on the other hand, tried her best to keep peace in the family. So when Esther arrived, Vivian welcomed her kindly. The girl was soft-spoken and respectful. She woke up early, cleaned quietly, helped in the kitchen, and always said thank you for even the smallest kindness. But Clara disliked her almost immediately. She hated how her father suddenly became interested in Esther's well-being. Whenever Esther looked tired, Andrew noticed. Whenever Esther needed books or clothes, Andrew bought them without hesitation. And whenever Clara insulted Esther, Andrew became unusually defensive. "Enough, Clara," he would say sharply. At first, Vivian thought her husband was simply trying to help a poor relative. But little things slowly began to trouble her.
My mother always
One
said
night
that.
during dinner, Esther mentioned her late mother. Andrew froze. Another day, she discovered school payment receipts hidden inside Andrew's drawer. Expensive payments. For Esther. Yet Andrew had never discussed any of it with her. The more Vivian watched her husband, the more uncomfortable she became. Sometimes she caught him staring silently at Esther like a man haunted by regret. And Esther herself seemed completely unaware. The poor girl simply worked hard and remained grateful for everything. She often spoke about her dream of becoming a nurse someday. But Clara's jealousy continued growing. "She's pretending," Clara complained one afternoon. "She came here to steal attention from me." Vivian tried calming her down. But deep inside, even she had started asking herself questions. Then one evening, everything changed. It started with a simple argument. Clara had accused Esther of touching one of her dresses without permission. "I didn't touch it," Esther said softly. "You're lying," Clara shouted. Andrew immediately stepped in. "That's enough," he snapped. The room fell silent. Even Vivian was shocked by the anger in his voice. Clara stormed upstairs in frustration and entered her father's office, still furious. She began pulling things carelessly from his desk. Then suddenly, a framed photograph slipped from a drawer and crashed onto the floor. The glass shattered instantly. Clara bent down angrily. But the moment she looked at the picture, her expression changed completely. "Mom." Vivian rushed into the office and froze. The photograph showed a much younger Andrew standing beside a smiling village woman. In Andrew's arms was a baby wrapped in cloth. At the bottom corner of the photograph were words written clearly. "Andrew, Grace, and baby Esther." The entire house went silent. Vivian slowly lifted the photograph with trembling hands. Her eyes moved toward Esther standing nervously by the door. Then back to Andrew. "What is this?" she whispered. Andrew could not speak. For the first time in years, the powerful businessman looked weak, broken, ashamed. Finally, after a long silence, he confessed the truth. Years before marrying Vivian, Andrew had fallen in love with a village woman named Grace. But when business opportunities brought him to the city, he abandoned that relationship and moved on with his life. Unknown to Vivian, Grace had been pregnant. Esther was his daughter. After Grace died years later, Andrew secretly traveled back to the village and discovered Esther living in terrible conditions. Guilt consumed him immediately, so he brought her to the city. But fear stopped him from telling the truth. He worried Vivian would leave him. He feared losing his family. So instead, he introduced his own daughter as a poor relative and treated her like a maid inside the very house where she truly belonged. Vivian sat down slowly in disbelief. Clara looked at Esther with shock. The same girl she had mocked for weeks was actually her half-sister. But the most painful moment came next. Esther's eyes filled with tears as she looked directly at Andrew. Her voice trembled softly. "If I'm truly your daughter..." She paused. "Why was I treated like a stranger?" The question hit Andrew harder than anything else. He broke down completely. All the years of secrecy, all the lies, all the fear, had only created pain for everyone. For several moments, nobody spoke. Then something unexpected happened. Vivian slowly walked toward Esther. The frightened girl lowered her head, expecting rejection. But instead, Vivian gently held her hand. None of this was Esther's fault. She was only a child caught inside the mistakes of adults. And in that emotional moment, Clara finally realized something too. Jealousy had blinded her from seeing Esther's pain. Because while she grew up with comfort and privilege, Esther had grown up feeling unwanted by the very father who secretly loved her. From that day forward, things slowly began to change. Not perfectly, not instantly, but honestly. Andrew stopped hiding the truth. Esther finally returned to school as a true member of the family. And Clara slowly learned to treat her not as competition, but as a sister. Because in the end, hidden truths always come to light. No matter how deeply they are buried. Children should never suffer because of the mistakes adults make. And true family is built not only by blood, but by honesty, acceptance, and love.